Ole, we trying to get Dylan to come on camera. We're looking for the code. We need a code for it to join with Tang.
Don't pull up to my tour if you got no Messi! How good is he? And it's Cristiano Ronaldo by himself. I don't believe it. That is beyond special. Again and again and again. What about that? Haaland. Mbappe! Aguero! There's your fairy tale.
Hello, good day. We would like to welcome you back to our football forum, Project Patois FC. Now, we come in with something very interesting, and I surely expected this, but we will be doing our own Fantasy Premier League, and it is going to basically follow our journey of building our own team as well as the competition in itself. So we want to explain to you why we choose certain players, what exactly are the best buys within different price points. Funny enough though, to go back to like how we did our power rankings, we are going to build our official Project Patois FC FPL team based on a consensus. Like, it's actually going to be data driven, whereas we are going to have our individual teams as well, which will be joining our own league. So it means we could win the prize from all you too, right? So I will be making my own team, Johnny will be making his own team and joining the league as well, but we will have a Project Patois FC team as the basis for everything we discuss, right? Now, we do know people have their own biases, you'll always choose favorite players, etc. So we wanted to split that apart from what we advise and what we're going to talk about. So just wanted to give you that little heads up. Now, that being said, FPL is something that you have to stay on top of, right? You have to know what's going on within the league, you have to be making your transfers, you have to see what values are being changed, you have to know how to make the most of it. So we want to keep you informed and keep you in the loop. This would be an ongoing series, and we would like to start today by basically explaining how we're going to get to the best players that we want in any specific price points, right?
Definitely. Before we get into that, I just want to ask people if they want to join the league. The league code is G18HCC, but we'll also provide the link to you so that
we'll put it some. I don't know where to put my hand because it depends on when I editing where I want to put the banner, but you'll see the banner somewhere in the screen, and you could put in that code, and we will also put the direct link to join the actual league in the description below, so you can check that out. Now, before we get into the league itself, I want to tell Ole we're going to have prizes as well. Throughout, we might have pop-up prizes, but the main prize for first place, we will be getting you the jersey of your favorite club, your favorite player, your favorite club, your size, and we're not going to buy a XXL jersey. So we want you to be able to support the team that you love and the team that carries you through week in, week out. Now, we will also be doing Project Patois FC merchandise, so you will be winning some of those things. You will definitely get a Project Patois FC jersey. You might even get something a little bit more special. I can't give you any details on that yet, but stay tuned. You will be winning some wild prizes. We want to also give you comps to some of our events. Project Patois, now as you know, Project Patois is an entire family. It doesn't just consist of Project Patois FC. So we do events, and you'll be able to go to those for free. Well, once you get the ticket in hand and once you win the league, right?
You know, free, the league is free, so you're free to enter.
Correct. Yeah, there's no need to pay for the league. We'd like you to join, live your best life, prove to us that you know what's going on in the Premier League, and we will also have prizes for the other top players. I think it may be top 5, and we might have 1 or 2 wild ones to throw in there mixed in. So definitely join, stay tuned, and thank you for joining the league for those who join.
Definitely. So we're gonna get straight into it. We're gonna go through each player I like at each price point. So we'll start with 4 million. 4 million is always a price point. People, they always want to save money so they could could get the bigger names in the league. So there's always a tough decision to be made on who you want your value to come from.
Yeah, because sometimes people just choose a player that probably ain't even gonna play, or a player that in the reserves. You know what I mean? Which we want to show you how you could still get something from it, right?
Yeah. So at this price point, the player that I believe is a very good value proposition is Tino Livramento. Maybe that's my Chelsea bias speaking, but he was a Chelsea player previously and he won Academy Player of the Year, so he does have a lot to offer. He's a right wing back. We always like these wing backs.
Correct, because they could score your points, right?
They could score your points. They are the magnets to bonus points. They score goals. They give you assists. And I think Livramento at right back, he has Kyle Walker-Peters, which probably is not going to be that difficult of a challenge for him to overcome.
So yeah, that being said, think about it. You would want to make a decision that can get you points. We know this is not your priority, but you want to still choose someone that can give you points when he plays, if he plays.
Of course. So this is an end of roster type of player. So moving on to 4.5, there's a lot of players you could decide in this price point, but I think Ben White is a player who I think is a very good value proposition in that price point. I would have personally probably put him at 5.
Yeah, I agree too. I'm surprised he's at 4.5, and I think he was a great purchase for Arsenal, and he will be playing, so I think he will be giving you points for sure.
Definitely. He will keep the clean sheets. I mean, Arsenal, they do keep clean sheets from time to time.
Except when they play United.
And well, Ben White, I mean, he's a versatile player. We might even see him in midfield.
Correct.
He might get points from that position. Moving on to 5 million. A player who I find is interesting is Vladimir Sufal. We saw in Euros what he did for Czech Republic. He's a great player. He bombs forward. He does the same thing for West Ham. And I mean, he had quite a few assists last season.
And he's consistent, right?
Yeah.
He tends to be consistent.
He definitely is consistent. Pops up with some nice goals from time to time. And West Ham have some nice fixtures, definitely.
And that's what you have to watch, eh? You have to make sure you watch with FPL too. I mean, that's where we have to put our biases aside. You have to look at the fixtures, look at the players that you think would be starting, and look at the players that you think could get you points. It might be nice to choose some players in the beginning, but when you realize their fixture list, so they're coming into a hard run of games, you have to look out for that.
Yeah, so when we build our wildcard team, we'll definitely touch on more so on the fixtures and how we construct that team. So moving on to 5.5 million. This is a United player, so definitely have a lot to say about this player. It's Luke Shaw.
Correct. I think at wing back he was one of the best for all of last season. He finally found form, and I think at a 5.5 price point you can't go wrong with Luke Shaw. Right? I think he's somebody that creates the chances. Let's hope he can maybe bag a few. But he definitely creates the chances, and now having these attacking options for him in United, he'll be able to make some more points. So I think that's a very solid decision at 5.5, and I'm surprised too he's not at 6.
Yeah, he should be definitely at 6.
Right, so
Roberto Carlos.
Roberto Carlos, exactly.
The only thing I have with Shaw is he might be playing on the same wing as Sancho.
Correct.
So that might be a nail in the tone, but we'll see.
And then it depends on the kind of setup you're going for, right? So you have to also watch the team you're building, but at the price point, and that's why we decided to put him there, we think at that price point he may be the best value.
Definitely must-have player. Then we're going into 6 million. This is a player who showed his worth last season as well. Is Jack Harrison for Leeds. There's some controversy between Harrison and Rafinha.
Yeah, correct.
Rafinha
I mean,
0.5 more. Some might argue he has really 0.5.
I think and Rafinha is probably the favorite, right? The fan favorite. But I think at 6 million, Harrison gives you solidity points in every game, right?
Definitely. He gets goals, he gets assists, and I mean, I think personally he's an underrated player.
Yeah.
So I think he will definitely deliver at that price point. Moving on to 6.5 million. We have Emi Buendia.
New sign-in.
New addition. I think he's going to slot into the Grealish role.
Correct.
And Aston Villa will ask for creativity to come from him. And he does also score goals. So I think Buendia at 6.5. I think it's 0.5 less than he should have been priced at.
Yeah, I mean, there's some surprising valuations, and I think at 6.5, with the goals that comes with him, I mean, goals is points, right? So you definitely want to have a player like that.
Yeah, of course, in that same price point is Bailey.
Yeah,
so,
correct.
I mean, in between the season, he might...
Yeah, you could flip-flop on that, but I think with regards to actually bagging the goals, Buendia might have more goals in his locker, whereas Bailey might be more of the assist type, right?
I would definitely agree with that. Moving on to 7 million, we have out of position player,
correct,
potentially Ferran Torres. Of course, we saw he started at striker, well, false 9 in the Community Shield. We'll see if that continues. If it does, I mean, at 7 million, if I'm giving you a Man City striker,
that's wild.
At 7 million, he's a must-have. So we'll see how that develops.
Yeah, and let's see if he actually holds that position. But as Johnny said, he might be able to get you more points than expected.
A bit of a risk, but I think personally it's worth the risk. Moving on to 7.5.
I mean, you could never go wrong with this man.
We have the assist machine, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Of course, he had a little bit of a poor-ish season to start last season, but he rounded off the season very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he picked up, and with regards to FPL, I don't think anybody could argue with the value he adds to the team, the points he adds to the team, and with the assists, I mean, week in, week out, it's points.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of look at him as a midfielder in a sense.
Yeah, definitely.
He basically plays that way, so
definitely.
A defender again, a midfielder for 7.5, I think that's a great value.
And any defender that giving you assists and a possibility of goals is a plus, right?
Of course. Moving on to the 8 million price point. This is a next player who I think is underpriced. And this is only because he was priced before he made his move.
Correct.
And that's Jack Grealish.
Correct. I think if they did price him when he was at City, he will not be at 8 million. But the Villa Grealish, I guess they got a Villa discount, right?
Definitely.
So Grealish is going to add a lot to your team, and at 8 million, yeah.
I think we could even see him at 9 million at the end of the season.
Yeah, and look for those changes in the values, right?
Of course. Moving on to 8.5, we have our next bias take.
Nah, I don't think it's bias. I mean, I think there's enough data to back it up. I think Kai Havertz at 8.5, you can't go wrong. And with the system that Chelsea plays, he's in there to score your points.
Definitely. He might be our next out of position player.
Correct.
It still remains to be seen how Havertz is going to fit in with Lukaku. Whether he will be behind him or whether he will partner him in strike.
Oi!
We start with the Delta variant, and it's
Harry and Meghan on some of the worst political violence.
Italy is once again lifting the trophy as European football champions.
This is the Project Patois Music Time Capsule, July 2021, by DJ Dillon.
So moving on to 9 million, we have Riyad Mahrez, our next underpriced Man City asset in my opinion.
Correct, because he's always consistent.
He's always consistent. Of course, with these Man City players, you always face Pep Roulette.
Yeah, you never know what's going on, right?
You never know, but the gamble pays off because, I mean, when they do play, they do always deliver. And I think Mahrez is a player who does deliver when he plays. And I think he has a season to prove that he belongs within the starting 11. I mean, Pep kind of plays around with Mahrez in the sense that he has him in Cup and he doesn't really play him as much in Premier League. But I think we're going to see a shift to Mahrez playing Premier League, and we'll see who he chooses for.
Yeah, let's see, right? And as we go up, we'll talk about other City players. But I agree. I think Mahrez for 9 million, you can't go wrong. 9.
Yeah. Definitely. The only thing with Mahrez, of course, is you'll have to watch when that African Cup of Nations starts.
Yeah, and that's kind of shaky and unfortunate because you have to figure out now how do you want to plan with that in mind? Do you want to just bypass it? I think it's something you have to think about.
Definitely. So he will be representing Algeria, for those who don't know. Moving on to 9.5 million. Man United player again.
And it's a new person to the Premier League,
Next
right?
new addition, that's Jadon Sancho. Of course, we couldn't get past this without mentioning him.
Correct.
I think at his price point, it's really a great price point. I mean, you have Sancho at 9.5 and you have Rashford. So you make the decision. I personally would go with Sancho.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think due to Rashford being injured and due to not being too sure when he will be back, I think Sancho is the safer bet. United isn't going to spend our money to bench him. So I think he'll be getting points at 9.52. I think is a fair valuation. Some people might think it's undervalued, but I think it's fair because he still has to prove himself
Of course.
in the Premier League. So let's see. But we both agree that he will definitely be adding value at 9.5.
Yeah, of course. So you could always start with Sancho, and if Rashford
Comes back,
and
yeah.
he's kicking on, you could always transition
Correct.
to transfer out Sancho for Rashford. Moving on to 10 million, we have Heung-min Son. Of course, he was massive in FPL last season.
Yeah,
Him
the
and Harry Kane.
FPL monster, right? Assist monster. He bags goals from out the box, so he gives you points.
Definitely gives you points, and we'll see if Harry Kane is there. If he's not, I mean, he'll get even more points.
Correct,
I mean,
because they have to pile the pressure on him. They have to rely on him a bit more. So that will be positive for you. I don't think that's a negative thing not being next to Harry Kane.
Definitely. If he's the centre point of Tottenham at 10 million, you can't go wrong with Heung-min Son. And I mean, the only other option in this price point was Aubameyang.
Yeah, and I don't think he will give you the value.
Nah.
Yeah, we only have really Ben White here from Arsenal, right?
Yeah,
so I don't think he could ever really knock out good old Son. So at that price point, that's our pick.
Yeah. So moving on to 10.5 is the old reliable Jamie Vardy.
Correct.
If Leicester are to make top 4, as I predicted with my bold prediction, Vardy's going to play a huge role in that. And he always delivers. I mean, he's Mr. Consistent. You put Vardy in your team. Of course, sometimes he might go on a little drought. But you know, once he scores, he's going to continue.
Yeah. I mean, once he bags 1, he bags 2, he ends up bagging 12, right? So,
Of course.
so definitely Vardy is a safe pick in my mind. I don't think it's a very wild decision. So 10.5 and he's scoring goals day in, day out. Definitely.
He's actually the only player in this price point as well.
Correct.
And moving on to our next player who's the only in this price point is 11 million, and that's Raheem Sterling.
Raptor.
At that price point, I don't necessarily like it too much, but I mean, he's the only player in that price point, so we have to talk about
Yeah. And again, we will be building our team and you will see our team, so you'll see the decisions we make, what price points we don't touch. But yeah, he's an interesting decision and the only one at that price point.
I personally think Sterling might drop out of favour with Pep.
Yes.
We saw a little bit of that last season. I think we're going to see it.
And now he has more competition, right? So
yeah, the ball is in Sterling's court, and at that price, I don't like it. Moving on to 11.5, we have nobody.
Nobody, the good old nobody. If you put nobody in your team, you'll get 0 points. So there's nobody for 11.5.
I mean, if you want to put nobody, it's better than if Southampton collect 8 goals.
Correct.
You know?
That's I mean, facts. It's better you have nobody than you have a team that gain jam.
Yeah. All right, moving on to 12 million. We have the new reliable, and that's Mr. Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno. Yeah, I think within most FPL teams, they kind of have Bruno, right? I don't think much people will decide to build a team without Bruno in there. Now he is at 12 million. It is pricey, so you're gonna have to sacrifice some other players, especially with your midfield. You're gonna have to decide how you're going to build it, who you're gonna sacrifice, the balance you're gonna have. And the good thing with Bruno is that Bruno plays, right? I don't think, now Ole did say he would like to not rely on him as heavily this season, but that being said, there's nobody else really that will be in his position. So let's see. I will be adding him to my team. So
It's between Bruno and KDB, so it's a tough one.
Yeah.
You really can't have both unless you want players like Tino Livramento in your team.
yeah, correct.
So it's gonna be tough to choose between those two. I mean, you probably flip flop based on the fixtures.
Correct. And you have to watch that, decide if you think United gonna have easier games than City or vice versa, and decide who you want to pivot on.
Yeah, so this price point is definitely going to be the guys you want to captain week in, week out.
Correct.
So a lot of, you need to really think about who you want for the start of the season. And our next player in the 12 million price point is Sadio Mane.
Yep.
I mean, he had a disappointing season last season. Some might think he might rebound. Again, AFCON might...
Yeah, and that's the problem with AFCON being there. He doesn't have as much opportunity to rebound. So I think the safe pick is the Bruno pick, and possibly even, you know, KDB self, right? So let's see.
Yeah, we'll see that for sure. We have to monitor KDB's injury as well, because I believe he was injured.
And for those who don't know, KDB is De Bruyne. Is De Bruyne. We call any man KDB like his partner.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, PFA player of the season.
Correct.
Yeah. 12.5 million. We have Harry Kane.
Harry.
We'll see if he's in City colours. If he's in City colours, he might justify 13 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the supporting cast around him at City, you don't see him not bagging the goals. So let's see, and that's something we have to look at too, right? Because there's still changes going on in the Premier League. So while you're building your team, think about that and kind of understand that you have to have room to maneuver, right?
Definitely, Harry Kane. I mean, he finished with most goals, most assists. You definitely
everything. The man have everything.
You definitely can't go wrong with Harry Kane. The only player else in that price point is Mohamed Salah.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody loves Salah in FPL, but it's a tough decision to make between those two. Or you might even pick both of them. You know.
Correct. Both of them, and then have some benchers, right? Some bench warmers. Sure. So yeah. That is us going through all the price points. Now we would have liked to just shown the options. Now we will go into making our team on an Instagram live. Now
watch out for that.
We need all you to follow Project Patois FC on Instagram. We will go live while we build our consensus team, our official Project Patois FC team, and you will see how we take these players in these price points and balance them off. And stay tuned for us moving forward throughout our FPL, timeline, how we transition the teams, make transfers, how the values change. And for those who are also new to FPL, it might be a little bit overwhelming when you now start. It's fine. I am somebody that I haven't played much FPL. I don't have that much experience in it. Johnny is definitely more in depth with that.
Definitely
so you'll be able to get the different perspectives and don't feel like it's too much of a task. I mean, yes, to get the most points you need to be changing your team every week, but don't let that be a barrier. Even if you're just a casual player, the league is free to join. You don't have fun. Correct. It's all about fun. You don't have to be first place, although everybody fighting for that position. We will have the fun prizes in between as well. We want to also say that there's going to have some sort of hidden code in this actual show. We can't tell you when. We can't really give you too much of a hint. If you find that hidden code and you comment below, you will be eligible to win the prize. Now, if more than one person comment, which we hope will happen, we will then decide to draw from that and you will win something from Project Patois, right? So we're going to do that more in our episodes as well. Please like, share, subscribe and join us on the FPL journey and stay tuned for that Instagram live.
Thanks again.
Alright, thank you. See you later.
Thank you.